Up next, still from the family side, please let's welcome our big brother, Emeka Wigwe.
Good evening, everybody. I would start by appealing to you to please understand with me. I'm a bit of an emotional person. And for tonight, more so, I really can't speak like other people because I have a peculiar relationship with Herbert, very unique one. Herbert and I grew up. Herbert is the closest person I've ever known. We grew up, we have a year in between us. We started our lives together in Port Harcourt. I don't know where to start from. It's okay, I don't need the clap. I can handle it. So I just go around about it. So my brother Herbert, I've already penned down a tribute, which I poured out my heart as much as I could. And I'd appreciate if you could all go onto the platform and see my tribute about Herbert. We're a family of 6 siblings: Osita, Joyce, myself, Peggy, Stella. Unfortunately, we lost Osita 27 years ago. It wasn't an easy experience, and what that meant was that Herbert had to step up to take charge of the family as the first son after Osita had passed. Obviously, we had an older sister, Joyce, but being the man in the family, Herbert had to take charge. And we went on, so that was it. But before then, I don't know where to start from. Growing up as children, went to Port Harcourt Primary School from a middle-class family, very strict home, and with a family of about 6. And I had cousins that lived with us, so about 7, 8. My dad had to manage to train everybody together, which made life a little difficult for us. But we went to the best schools. We had the best we could afford at that time. Herbert, my brother, was an exceptional kid. We had a drive. He was very ambitious, even as a child. Very, very forward-thinking. Very, very, very hopeful. Very thrifty in the way he went on. I was the more vocal one, the more aggressive one. And we complimented ourselves as brothers. We're not very privileged to have had the perks other rich kids had. My dad could barely go beyond taking care of our school fees and keeping us together. School fees for the best schools. We had instances where other kids with us that we hung out with seemed to have been more privileged. They had better toys to play with and all that. Herbert and I had to struggle to remain as decent, stable kids, even if we didn't have those perks come our way. And like a joke, which is usually referred to most times by our friend Ambassador, where other kids were privileged to have bicycles. You know how kids are growing up, chopper and all that. Well, our dad couldn't afford choppers for us. Well, not he couldn't afford, but he was so strict and he didn't think that was a necessary prerequisite for kids then. And Herbert always threatened that, if he didn't have a chopper, he promised that someday he was going to buy himself a Beetle. That was how he thought as a child, We went on to school. He excelled a lot academically. We all did well. Fortunately, we're all blessed with academic intelligence. We all did well. Herbert excelled in school. His close rival in his class then were people like his childhood friends, David Hart, of blessed memories today, Tonya Wilcox, and so on. You know, I speak without, I speak unplanned. I really couldn't get it. I speak unplanned, and I probably would have allowed my emotions to take me on so I could speak properly, you understand? Well, it's a shame, it's a pity to sit down today and think that almost everybody that was very close to him as a child, his classmates, all passed on. Herbert happens to be one of the later ones that have passed on. Coincidentally, on the night he passed, on the platform where we were contributing for one of his ex-classmates, Herbert was the last to make a contribution, and that was on Friday night before Herbert passed. Little did he know he was going to pass that morning, So much has been in it. I really can't get my thoughts together. I'm just everywhere with emotions. And he was everything everybody has said. There's little more I can add to it. He was a great guy. He was a very compassionate person, love for kids, self-driven, an achiever, a visionary, a dreamer. And to a large extent, God blessed him. He achieved it all. He achieved everything most of what he would have liked, except that he didn't have the life he wanted. He didn't live long enough. So we're left with just trying to push his legacy and his dreams so far. And I want to say, I just want to say, it feels good to know that I could have to speak up here today knowing that I'll be referred to as Herbert's brother. It feels very good, I must say it's an honor. It's an honor, and it's quite a steep feat to accomplish, to stand up there with knowing that I'm Herbert's brother, knowing what expectations the world has about me. But I'm glad. I'm encouraged by the crowd I see, by the accolades I see for Herbert. I feel very inspired. I feel happy, and I begin to say to myself, did I need Herbert's death to understand how large Herbert was? As his blood brother, I never knew Herbert had all this clout. I knew Herbert being a great guy. I knew him for everything, but you know how it is. You take it for granted because you say he's your brother. You know him all. But I'm glad. I'm encouraged. I'm very encouraged to hear all this about Herbert, and so much said about what he's done and what his dreams are. We all know what it is. I guess the greatest legacy he would have liked, would have been to build up his foundation, which had a lot to do with which speaks to his heart towards children. Most importantly, his family, his kids. And it's funny. I kept marriage till very late. Till very, very late, I promise you. Maybe God has a humor man we can't understand. I gave birth. I had my first child barely a year ago. I got into fatherhood barely a year ago, and in less than a year after, I see myself inheriting 4 more kids: Tochi, David, Hannah, and Okaji. It's pleasant. I'm happy about it. I'm excited. If there's something I look forward to beyond anything else in my life, is to show love to Herbert's kids. I'd like to prove to them. I know I might not do it as well as he would have done it, but I'd love to show them what their father meant to me. I don't have a choice. I don't know anywhere else to build. And for whatever Herbert stood for, I'll be glad to do what we can. Myself, my wife, Chinaya, my siblings, and my entire family would be very glad to serve, to do it, to the glory of God. And we've had a lot of support from Aigboje, Herbert's brother, Herbert's twin, our family, Alhaji Aliko. I must say a lot of appreciation to him. Alhaji has been receiving guests at my father's house like it was his son that died. Same for the governor of Lagos State. Everybody has been so helpful and supportive. And, I don't know. For a day that has been the toughest day in my life, standing up here to talk to you guys is the toughest challenge I've ever had in my entire existence. in my entire existence. Until I stood up from my seat, I didn't know I could do this. I sat down there and I said, who knows Herbert better than I do in this hall? Nobody. Nobody messed up around with Herbert. Who was Herbert? Herbert was that brother of mine that took my underwears to learn how to swim. I went in, nearly got drowned. He came out and I took it back and he said to me, don't go in there. I insisted on taking my panties back from Herbert. I took it, went into the water, nearly got drowned myself. We got out, we laughed about it, and that was how I never learned how to swim. Same for Herbert. That was the guy I knew. That was the person I shared my life with. We took my dad back in the day. My dad had, he was a retired military personnel, and he was very insecure in the country. So my dad had acquired a long-range firearm. Herbert and I were trying to learn how to shoot a gun. I mean, look at what kids get up to. What didn't we do? We did the unspeakable. We pilfered from my folks' perfumes, his things, all in a bit to feel good. And over time, we look at it, and Herbert, later in life, while we're shedding our vices and our past vices, we tease about it, and Herbert sits down and talks to me, sounding all so moralistic. And I tell him, Gigi, you've forgotten how we were back in the day. And he laughs, and So we fondly called him Gigi at home, which was a pet name he had picked up from home, and while he referred to me as Bobo. And most of our friends saw us, and the other day a friend of mine saw me and said, what, Herbert, Emeka and Herbert, we envied you as kids. We didn't understand how two brothers could be so close. So we shared so much. I mean, it was beyond the professional part, it was beyond the academics, it was from our bare rudiments, where we didn't know anything, where there was nothing at stake, it was just who you were. It wasn't about Emeka being this or Herbert being the big business tycoon. It was sheer, pure, innocent love and friendship. So much has happened. Life evolves. I mean, whatever we go through in life, whatever we see, we always remember. We can't forget where we come from. We've had fights. Who was that person I could fight with? And God, and the next second, he's trying to make up because there's something I have he wants. And it's not a problem because we know ourselves. Who was that? That was Herbert. Today I spoke to Igboje, who I'd look up to as my older brother for every reason. Igboje is Herbert's contemporary, he's Herbert's friend, he's Herbert's partner. So I can only say Igboje as my older brother. And I said to Igboje that day, I can't quarrel with you, but I would have quarreled and fought with Herbert. Because I know Igboje as Herbert's friend, and Herbert was that person I could do what I could take the extra chance with. So if I met his friends, I probably wouldn't have the same feel with them, no matter how much I love them. So Herbert was my brother. He was my brother from the roots. I couldn't, like it or not, I couldn't do a thing without him. So we shared too much. I mean, we shared so much. I would feel out of place to come here to start telling you how good Herbert was. I'll sound like I'm patronizing him. But Herbert is who he is, and I know him for what he is. And unfortunately, like it or not, I really can't. I can't do without. I can't see wrong in him. Even if I told you I saw wrong in him, if it comes to brass tracks, I'll stand up for Herbert. So I just can't. I just need you to know that I just have a duty to stand up for Herbert in all forms, And I say thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for this. And I just pray we could all stand as one big family, one really big family here. Everybody sounded so passionate about him, so deep about him. And it's been very, very encouraging. I mean, having to see the attitude towards my parents, the love and affection shown to my family, it's incredible. I feel on top of the world. I tried crying, because it's unbelievable what happened to Herbert. You just can't comprehend it. It's like a fiction story that it could never have been written by the best scriptwriter in Hollywood. It's a dream. How does it happen? He had everything going. He had everything going. He was religious. You know, I keep saying to people, couldn't something speak for Herbert in the spiritual realm when it was going to happen? Couldn't something say, hey, this gentleman has done this, let it not happen? So it just tells you, I mean, we're all as vulnerable as the next person. Yeah. And, you know, we're all vulnerable, and I think we should just share in the memories of Herbert in all that he stands for, in all the good he did, and let's build it and make a better world for every one of us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Yeah.